Greetings, beloved ones. I am Mira of the Pleiadian High Council, here to speak with you in this moment of profound transformation on Earth. A perfect storm of energies is now forming to bring long-awaited revelations and the fall of old illusion. Yet I assure you, you are not navigating these changes alone. Every awakened soul among you carries a guiding presence within. Call it your guardian angel, your oversoul, your higher self, or a guiding star that steers you through unseen currents. This inner divine compass, combined with our oversight from the higher realms, is working tirelessly to help you stay on course through uncertainty. You may recall stories of your pilots who felt angels in the cockpit, guiding them safely through perilous journeys. These were real examples of the invisible assistance that is also available to you now. In the turbulence of these times, even if you momentarily lose direction or grow weary, your higher guidance will gently adjust your course so that you arrive exactly where you need to be. Trust this sacred assistance, dear ones, for it is a gift from Source to ensure you fulfill your destiny amid the great changes underway. Do not be fooled by outer appearances. In this era of high-stakes power plays, it is vital to examine everything the external world presents with discernment. Behind nearly every dramatic headline or sensational story lies another story. Layers of covert agendas, mirrors of truth and falsehood, and strategic countermoves unfolding behind the scenes. Those clinging to old power structures are adept at casting illusions to keep the populace distracted and in fear. As a starseed and lightworker, you must cultivate your inner knowing to navigate this smoke and mirrors. When you encounter alarming news or confusing events, pause and tune into your heart's intuition before reacting. Feel the frequency of what is being presented. Does it resonate as truth? Or does it feel manufactured to manipulate your emotions? By sensing the energy behind appearances, you will know what is real. Often the loudest external narratives are simply projections designed to maintain control or conceal deeper issues. However, the higher light frequencies now bathing Earth are making it harder for deceit to hide. The old tricks are losing their effect as more souls awaken and see through the charade. Much of what you see outwardly is a staged drama in its final act. The illusions of separation and deception are beginning to crumble. Your task is to remain centered in your soul's knowing, observing the outer plays without being swept away by them. In doing so, you anchor clarity and stability that help expose the truth and hasten the fall of illusion that has veiled humanity for so long. The recent supermoon of October 6th to 7th has opened a significant energetic gateway for you. This was no ordinary full moon. Being a supermoon, it came closer to Earth and exerted a profound pull on both the physical and subtle levels. Many of you have felt the deep tides it stirred within, strong emotions rising and falling like waves, old memories and even ancestral wounds breaking the surface of awareness. This lunar event is acting as an amplifier for your inner voice. Its luminous glow carries unique supermoon codes designed to activate dormant truths within your DNA and spirit. Under this influence, your intuition and psychic senses are heightened. If you listen closely in the stillness of your heart, you'll notice that the guidance from your soul, that still, small voice, is coming through louder and clearer than before. This is an ideal time to tune out the clamor of the outer world and truly hear the messages of your higher self. Ride the supermoon's high-frequency current by meditating, journaling, or simply sitting in quiet reflection. You will find revelations bubbling up from within. Know also that this supermoon is one part of a larger cosmic symphony playing out right now. Simultaneously, your sun has been releasing powerful solar waves of plasma and light, bathing the Earth in transformative energy. And even an interstellar comet from beyond your solar system is passing through your skies, bringing new light codes from the stars. All these cosmic elements are converging to form an energetic perfect storm that accelerates awakening on your planet. They are helping to dissolve illusions and illuminate truth. By aligning yourself through inner listening and openness, you allow these celestial energies to uplift you. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by their intensity, you can ride the wave and let it carry you to higher awareness. The universe is speaking to you through these events. Your soul understands its language. Darkness and light are openly colliding on your world stage. In recent weeks, for example, a shocking political assassination sent ripples of fear through the collective. At the same time, a government came to a standstill, reflecting deep dysfunction and division. Such incidents, along with other systemic breakdowns you are seeing in economies, social structures, and beyond, are manifestations of the old energy clashing with the incoming light. The forces of control and deception are being disrupted by higher frequencies, and as they collide, fractures appear in the established order. While these events can be distressing on the surface, understand that they also create openings, energetic vacuums, that can be filled with higher consciousness. When a structure built on shadow crumbles, or when a collective shock occurs, there is a moment when the field is wide open. In that space, lightworkers and star seeds can breathe in calm, clarity, and compassion to steady the collective. Rather than reacting with panic, anger, or despair, you are called to respond with stabilizing energy, to fill the void with peace and insight. For instance, after an act of violence or terror, you might send love and healing intentions to all affected, helping to soothe the fear that the event was meant to spread. When a government or system falters, you can envision divine order and wisdom guiding a better outcome. By doing this, you literally infuse those situations with light, preventing the darkness from rushing back into the void. Every crisis is an opportunity for awakening and positive change if met with higher awareness. So when you see darkness and light visibly colliding in the world's arena, know that this is a necessary part of the transformation. The old is cracking, and the truth is pushing through. Stand firm in your role as a pillar of light amidst these events. Your steady presence and prayers allow higher solutions to emerge where chaos once reigned. In this way, the ground crew assists humanity in moving through turmoil toward a new dawn. Not everything is black and white. As the dramas play out, what appears as absolute polarity is often more complex, with much crossover and disguise at play. Those working for positive change, often dubbed white hats, might sometimes operate in secretive or unconventional ways, even appearing harsh or using shadow-like tactics to outsmart entrenched darkness. Conversely, forces of darkness often masquerade as light, adopting the language of truth and hope to mislead and maintain control. It is truly a complex dance of intelligence behind the scenes. Because of this, dear ones, do not jump to quick conclusions about any person or event based solely on outward appearances or labels. Instead of hastily casting someone as hero or villain, sense their frequency and intent. Use your discernment to feel whether an action ultimately stems from love or from fear, from unity or division. A positive change may come hidden in a disguise that only intuition can recognize. Likewise, a seemingly benevolent figure could be serving a self-interested agenda under the surface. This is why developing your inner sensing is so important. As starseeds, you are learning to navigate beyond dualistic thinking. You can understand that light sometimes uses the shadow, and the shadow can imitate light during these transitional times. Stay informed, yes, but rely more on your higher knowing than on surface narratives of who is good or bad. Often the truth is more nuanced than the outer story. Trust your subtle guidance. It will allow you to cooperate wisely with the forces of genuine light without getting caught in unnecessary polarization. Remember, all souls ultimately play a part in the divine plan, even those temporarily in dark roles. With compassionate discernment, you contribute to resolving polarity instead of reinforcing it with judgment. Stay sovereign inside while chaos swirls outside. As outer systems wobble and sometimes crumble, your power lies in remaining the master of your own energy and consciousness. The more firmly rooted you are in your soul and in the present moment, the less you will be pulled by the whirlwinds of collective fear and drama. Think of yourself as the calm eye of the hurricane. The winds may howl around you, but in your core there is clear sky and stillness. Cultivate this state through practices that keep you grounded and aligned with Source, be it meditation, prayer, time in nature, or simply mindful breathing throughout the day. When news of instability or crisis reaches you, notice your initial emotional reaction, but then consciously return to your heart space and higher perspective. Affirm that no matter what happens in the world around you, you remain aligned with divine order. This is not denial of the world's issues. It is choosing not to be dominated by anxiety or despair. Your inner sovereign self knows that ultimately all unfolds according to a higher plan, and this gives you strength and equanimity even in uncertainty. Standing in this sovereignty, you become far less susceptible to manipulation by external forces. Mass energies cannot easily sway one who is self-possessed in the light. You make decisions from wisdom rather than reactivity. This centered response is exactly what is needed now. It allows you to be a stabilizing pillar for others and to navigate difficulties with grace. No matter how loud or chaotic the outer world becomes, resolve that you will govern your own state of mind and heart. That is true freedom. By holding your inner sovereignty, you show others that they too can find solid ground within themselves amid upheaval. This empowers more people to step out of the frenzy and into conscious choice. It is one of the greatest contributions you can make during these times. Trust the invisible over the visible. When foundations are shaking, it is important to examine where you place your faith. Do not pin all your hopes on external systems, institutions, technologies, or even specific leaders to be your salvation. Political regimes rise and fall, economies fluctuate, technologies succeed and fail. Even well-intentioned human plans can go awry. If your sense of security is built solely on these outer forms, you will always feel unstable, because forms by nature are temporary and changeable. The invisible substance behind life, however, is unchanging and eternal. The living field of source consciousness is the real rock you can build upon. Trust in the guidance of spirit, in the power of love, in the unseen hand of the divine, quietly orchestrating miracles behind the scenes. This doesn't mean you abandon practical action or fail to appreciate physical support. By all means, use helpful technologies, participate in community and governance as you feel called, and respect those who serve with integrity. But always remember, your true sustenance and direction come from a higher plane. No new policy or invention alone will birth the new earth unless it's accompanied by a rise in human consciousness. Conversely, even if old systems collapse, an awakened humanity guided by spirit can flourish and create solutions out of seeming thin air. If you devote your energy primarily to elevating your consciousness and living in alignment with spirit, you will harvest lasting fulfillment and security. But if you devote all your energy to chasing material guarantees and worldly assurances, you will find those yields ultimately unsatisfying and impermanent. Treat every form as a vessel for the one light. Trust the light first and foremost, and let it be the foundation of your life. Use forms as needed, but do not idolize them. In doing so, you remain flexible and fearless, for even if one door closes, the limitless source will open another. Your supply, your safety, and your purpose flow from a wellspring that never dries up. Align with it, and you will never truly be without what you need. Your personal healing uplifts the world. Never underestimate the ripple effect of your inner transformation. Your own body, mind, and home are the starting point of the new earth. This is your immediate territory, the field of influence uniquely yours to tend. When you heal yourself or bring higher awareness into your life, you are actually performing a fundamental service for the world. The frequency you cultivate in your personal space will naturally radiate outward and touch others. As you raise the vibration of your thoughts, emotions, and physical body, you'll notice shifts in your home environment and in the people around you. Harmony and higher understanding become contagious. From there, the circle widens. The peace and clarity established in one household extend into the community. It might inspire kinder interactions, new ideas in your workplace, or more compassionate policies in your local area. Over time, these local shifts contribute to changes in institutions and governments. This is truly how lasting change happens, from the inside out, starting with one awakened heart. The activity of an enlightened soul is not confined to their meditation room. Its effects are far-reaching in ways you cannot always quantify. A realized being, one who lives aligned with the divine within, acts as a beacon. Even silently, your soul's light does work in the world, uplifting and resolving discord in the collective field. You may not always see how a meditation you do today helps ease an issue across the globe, or how the love you radiate in your home might soften hearts of people you've never met. But this is how energy works. All is connected in the unified field of consciousness. Therefore, treat your personal field as sacred ground. Tend to your body's well-being, resolve the conflicts in your heart, and bring love into your immediate surroundings. By doing so, you prepare fertile soil from which a healed world can grow. Each of you is like a node of light. As your node becomes strong and pure, it links with others to form a lattice of awakening that spans the planet. Your microcosm truly influences the macrocosm more than you might believe. Trust this process and know that tending your inner garden is one of the most impactful things you can do for Earth's ascension. Fear is the real enemy, and love the real power. Fear is at the root of nearly every act of violence, greed, and oppression in your world. Fear of loss breeds greed and hoarding. Fear of the other breeds hatred, racism, and war. Fear of inadequacy breeds the lust for power over others. Those who have sought to control humanity know that as long as people are afraid of each other, of scarcity, of punishment, they can be manipulated and pitted against their own best interests. Now, as a being of light, your task is to break this cycle first within your own sphere. This does not mean ignoring your fears or pretending they aren't there. It means bringing them out of the shadows and transforming them. When fear arises in you, whether it's fear of the future, fear for your safety, or any anxiety, take a courageous breath and acknowledge it. Invite the light of your consciousness to shine on the fear. Ask yourself, what is the truth behind this feeling? Is it showing an actual danger? Or is it a projection of past trauma or a collective belief? more often than not, you will find the fear has no solid substance when faced with the light of understanding. By gently confronting and dissolving these inner fears, you weaken the very root that dark influences depend upon. You stop feeding the energies of division and control. You become less reactive to scare tactics or propaganda because you see through the illusion. The more individuals who do this, the more the collective fear vibration decreases, and with it, the old manipulations lose their grip. When people no longer fear each other or the unknown, hatred, conflict, and exploitation lose their foothold. And that world begins with you doing the inner work to convert fear into trust. Use whatever spiritual tools resonate, be it prayer, energy healing, rational inquiry, or simply the comfort of knowing your eternal nature, to calm and clear fear when it surfaces. As you become increasingly fearless, truly trusting in the universe's benevolence, you emanate a presence that calms others too. Yes, fear is contagious, but so are courage and love. By dissolving fear in your field, you undermine the entire foundation upon which separation and control rest. In this way, your personal healing contributes directly to global freedom. Not every thought in your mind is yours. It is vital to understand that many thoughts and emotions passing through you are not inherently your own. You live in a sea of collective energy where thought forms, fears, and desires circulate constantly. Especially now, with so much mental noise in mass consciousness and media, you might find foreign thoughts drifting into your awareness. Some of these can be unsettling, irrational, or unlike anything you would normally think or feel. Realize that as a sensitive being, you can tune into the wavelengths of the collective mind, but you also have the power to tune out. The key is to become the observer of your mental space, rather than identifying with every thought that appears. When a thought or feeling arises, pause and question. Is this coming from my true self, or could this be something I picked up from outside? If it's negative, fear-based, or very out of character, there's a good chance it is not truly yours. In that moment, you can consciously choose not to accept it. Visualize yourself stepping back in your mind and just letting the thought drift by like a cloud without attaching to it. You might even tell it, "This is not my thought. It has no power over me," and then release it. By doing this consistently, you build a kind of spiritual filter or boundary in your consciousness. The more you align with the divine mind, the mind of your higher self, the more quickly you recognize which thoughts resonate with truth and love, and which are distortions from the outside. In these days of amplified propaganda, fear-mongering news cycles, and even energetic interference, this skill is invaluable. This practice keeps you clear and sovereign. Rather than being swept into collective panic or hostility, you remain steady, choosing thoughts that serve the highest good. Remember that your mind is sacred space. You have every right to choose what enters and what must leave. By keeping watch at the doorway of your mind with relaxed awareness, you ensure that only the whisper of your soul and the inspiration from spirit find a home there. All else can be acknowledged and gently dismissed. This practice will keep you centered and sane amid a world awash in mental chaos. Even a fragile faith invites miracles. In the most turbulent moments, faith can feel very fragile. Yet if you lean into even that thin line of trust, it will connect you to an unbreakable safety net woven by the divine. Often it is precisely when you have exhausted all logical options and the situation appears hopeless that the greatest support swoops in. There are many examples of this in human experience. Remember the story of a lone aviator crossing the ocean, who, beyond the limits of his own endurance, felt an unseen co-pilot take the controls and guide him safely to his destination. Or the explorer alone in the frozen wilderness, injured and without hope, who decided to place his trust in the omnipresent divine mind, and then awoke to find his body healed and his critical equipment mysteriously restored to working order. These are not fanciful tales. They are real events demonstrating the ever-present help available when one truly surrenders to the higher presence. In each case, humanly there was no solution, but by turning inward and calling upon the unseen source, a miraculous outcome was orchestrated. The same universal intelligence that aided those souls in their darkest hours is with you now in every challenge, large or small. But it does require an opening of faith, even a small, shaky one, to activate. When nothing in the outer world makes sense, go within and simply say, "I trust you. Guide me." You don't need absolute certainty. Even a prayer whispered through a trembling heart is enough. The divine hears the true intent behind your call. By daring to trust the unseen when visible supports have failed, you invite a higher order of solutions into your life. This is where real-life miracles arise. Guidance might suddenly whisper the one thing you need to do, or a synchronicity might bring the right person or resource at the perfect time, or you might be steered away from danger by inexplicable timing. These are the rewards of faith, showing that your loving source has been there all along, ready to respond to your sincere trust. So when your faith feels faint, remember those who flew and sailed before you on faith alone, and how providence met them in midair and on the open sea. Know that you are cut from the same cloth of spirit. Lean into that invisible hand. It will not fail you, especially not now when you are contributing to the grand purpose of planetary ascension. Divine intelligence is your hidden operating system. Let us speak more about this divine intelligence you are learning to trust, for it is truly like the hidden operating system of your life and of the universe. It is not a distant abstraction at all. It is the very force that right now keeps your heart beating, your lungs breathing, and every cell in your body functioning without your conscious direction. Consider how you grew from a tiny embryo into a fully formed human being with complex organs and systems, all without any instruction from your conscious mind. A supreme intelligence handled it perfectly. That same living intelligence coordinates the stars in their courses, causes the sun to shine and plants to grow, and maintains the balance of ecosystems. It is continuously active, everywhere present, and all-knowing in the truest sense. Now realize that this universal mind is also at work within your own awareness. It quietly provides flashes of intuition, gut feelings of warning or comfort, and sudden inspirations that seem to come from beyond your personal thoughts. Importantly, this divine mind is responsive to the needs of the moment. When you face a crisis and can silence the panic, often a wise impulse arises, or a surge of calm strength carries you through. That is the built-in grace of the operating system coming to your aid. It is as real as gravity, though invisible to human eyes. This is the subtle architecture underlying reality, what some might call the quantum field of consciousness, or the spirit of the Creator in action. Its nature is love, and its intent is your highest good. It orchestrates your life towards soul growth and fulfillment when you allow it. The more you acknowledge this inner divine presence, the more efficiently it can function in your life. If you try to micromanage everything with your limited human thinking, you may block this higher guidance. But when you even momentarily let go and trust the genius within, you make space for that universal mind to reveal solutions and create what your brain alone could not. This intelligence is your true partner in everything. It ensures that at the deepest level, all is in order, and that every challenge contains seeds of grace. By remembering that you carry this hidden treasure inside, you will feel less alone and more empowered no matter what life presents. In truth, you are never without answers. They live in the one mind that you and all beings share. You need only tap into it with confidence, and gradually you will begin to operate more and more from this higher mind, as naturally as you once operated from the limited mind. Surrender opens the way. A crucial attitude to cultivate now is the willingness to surrender your rigid human will to the guidance of your higher will. In times of rapid change and uncertainty, trying to forcefully control every outcome or insisting that things go exactly according to your personal plan will only lead to frustration and exhaustion. The energy currents are simply too strong to be managed by sheer willpower. Think of a river in flood. If you cling desperately to the steering wheel of your little boat, trying to go upstream or hold a fixed course, you will likely capsize. But if you loosen your grip and allow the powerful current to carry you, while keeping your boat balanced, it will guide you around obstacles and toward calmer water. In the same way, it is far wiser now to yield to the higher flow of life than to fight it. Surrender here does not mean passive resignation or giving up on your dreams. It means actively choosing to trust that the divine current knows where you need to go, even if it diverges from your own expectations. It means listening for inner guidance and subtle nudges, then responding to them rather than imposing your ego's agenda on every situation. Practice relaxing your mental hold on situations that feel stuck or turbulent. Step back and gently affirm, "I allow the highest outcome to unfold. I will move in the direction that feels aligned, and I release the rest." You may be amazed how this simple willingness to stop pushing can open a pathway that wasn't visible before. Often, once your human will steps aside, the divine will can work its quiet miracles. By surrendering, you also spare yourself unnecessary struggle. You begin to live more in a state of grace, where you do what is yours to do, inspired action, and trust life to handle the rest. This approach is not inaction, it is wise action, moving with Spirit's timing instead of against it. When you act from alignment, even small or delayed actions tend to be far more effective than a flurry of frantic efforts born of fear. Remember that your soul has a blueprint intertwined with the greater plan. If something isn't working out despite your best efforts, there may be a better way or a better time. Allow yourself to be shown. By surrendering the lesser will of your personality to the greater will of your divine self, you will find life becoming more synchronistic and flowing. You conserve energy and discover the feeling of being carried by an unseen support, even amid outer turbulence. Truly, surrender is the way to navigate the perfect storm forming around you. It places you in the eye of that storm, in the calm guidance of Spirit. Miracles hide within challenges. One of the most inspiring aspects of this journey is witnessing how the universe can turn even the bleakest situation into a breakthrough. Very often, what looks like a dark event or dramatic breakdown in your life or in the world is actually creating an opening for something new and better to emerge. The cracks that appear in the structures of your reality, though they may cause discomfort or uncertainty, are precisely how the light gets in and new pathways are revealed. It is as if the higher plan sometimes deliberately orchestrates a dead end or collapse in one direction, so that you will be guided onto a more beneficial road you might not have considered otherwise. Therefore, try to adopt a perspective of curiosity and even expectancy in the face of challenges. Instead of immediately lamenting a setback, ask yourself, I wonder what good will come from this. What door is opening that I can't see yet? This attitude aligns you with the possibility of miracles. Indeed, in these accelerated energies, synchronicities often abound. You might be struggling with a problem when suddenly the perfect person or resource appears out of the blue to assist you. Or you may experience a loss, say the end of a job or relationship, only to have an unexpected opportunity or connection come into your life that is even more aligned with your growth and happiness. These are not mere coincidences. This is divine choreography at work. Often you will find that when one door closes, another opens as if by magic. In truth, that magic is simply how the universe redirects the flow when you trust and allow. So whenever you encounter an abrupt change or discouraging event, pause and remind yourself that the story isn't over yet. Look for the hidden gift or alternate route that might be revealing itself. Keep your intuition tuned, because your guidance will often nudge you toward a new path once you accept that the old one has run its course. If you maintain this openness, you shift from feeling victimized by circumstances to living like an adventurer who meets each twist in the plot with readiness. You become someone who expects grace to reveal itself, and thus you tend to find it. Remember, Spirit is a master weaver of possibilities. What our limited human view perceives as chaos, the divine perceives as an opportunity to reweave the threads into a more beautiful pattern. When things go wrong, it is often the universe's way of setting things right on a higher level. Trust this process of miraculous correction. When you look back later, you will often be amazed that a seeming obstacle turned out to be exactly the catalyst needed for your next leap forward. Heal the divide within to heal the divide without. The work of unifying the world begins with unifying yourself. You are a microcosm of the collective, and within your own psyche you carry elements of both light and shadow, love and fear, the divine and the human. If these aspects inside you are at war, that inner conflict projects outward and adds to the collective division. But when you heal the rift within and reconcile the parts of yourself, you literally become a portal through which reconciliation energy flows into the world. It starts with embracing your whole self. Acknowledge that you, like every person, have had both noble thoughts and unwise ones, kind actions and regrettable ones. Rather than condemning parts of yourself or hiding your shadow, bring compassion and understanding to them. See that every inner villain, for example, a lingering anger, a fear, a selfish impulse, is really a hurt part of you seeking the light of love. When you shine that love inward and forgive yourself for past mistakes, you experience an inner alchemy. The polarities within you begin to dissolve into a harmonious whole. You stop seeing your lower nature as an enemy and instead learn to guide it with your higher nature. You become unified in purpose and at peace inside. The moment this genuine inner reconciliation occurs, a powerful thing happens. You start to transmit unity into the collective field. Because you have made peace between the light and dark within, you hold a frequency where opposites can find common ground. Your consciousness becomes like a bridge over a chasm. By your presence and intention, you help people or energies on opposite sides move toward resolution. Sometimes no words are even needed. It is the silent influence of your integrated vibration. By becoming a living example that internal duality can be healed, you allow unity consciousness to spread into the wider human psyche. Every time one of you forgives an enemy, within yourself or in another, or acknowledges the spark of source even in someone who opposes you, you anchor a pattern of reconciliation on earth. Over time, these patterns gain strength, making it easier for larger groups to come together, for warring factions to grow weary of fighting, for truth and forgiveness to prevail over hatred. As you reconcile your personal dualities, balancing the masculine and feminine within, aligning mind and heart, bridging spirit and matter in yourself, You truly help humanity move toward unity and away from polarization. You are like a tuning fork. When you vibrate with wholeness, others instinctively begin to attune themselves to that harmony. Thus, the peace you cultivate inside becomes peace among people. The love you extend to all parts of yourself becomes the love that heals divisions in the world. You truly are the portal through which unity consciousness flows. When old structures fall, your destiny calls. As the old structures of society and belief begin to crumble, this is not a time for despair, but a clarion call to those of you who came to midwife the new. Many star seeds have carried quiet missions and gifts, while the familiar systems held sway. You may have wondered when you would step fully into your purpose. That when is arriving as the cracks in the old grid grow wider. When an outdated institution falls, or a collective belief system collapses, it creates a gap in human experience. Into that gap, new ideas and solutions can finally emerge. This is your opening. The world will be seeking fresh approaches, higher wisdom, and compassionate leadership to fill the voids left by failing paradigms. Who better to provide these than you, who have been awakening and preparing for years? Talents and perspectives that did not fit the old framework will now be exactly what is needed. For instance, if old ways of governance or economies break down, those who carry visions of unity, fairness, and sustainability can step forward to shape more enlightened systems. Even on a personal level, you might experience an aspect of your life falling apart, perhaps a career ending or a long-held identity shifting. Rather than seeing it as simply loss, recognize that life is freeing you from the old so that you can step more fully onto the path your soul truly desires. When something in your world falls away, go within and ask, is this a crack I am meant to fill? How can I serve here? Your role might be to provide comfort and stability to those around you, or it might be to take up leadership in your community. It could be as humble as helping neighbors, or as grand as launching a new initiative. All contributions count. Trust that you are being guided to the right place at the right time as these changes unfold. Remember, you incarnated in this pivotal era for a reason, to be available when destiny called. That call is beginning to sound. Listen with your heart and be ready to say yes. The new earth will be built through these openings, one brave soul stepping forward at a time. Your courage in answering your soul's calling amid uncertainty will make all the difference. Be patient before rebuilding. Let spirit guide the new. As you answer the call to build the new, be wise about not rushing to recreate familiar forms. One pitfall in times of upheaval is the urge to replace old structures with something, anything, just to regain a sense of stability. However, rushing to erect a new system without sufficient evolution in consciousness can result in a replica of the old paradigm under a new name. To truly create something different, you must allow the higher template to reveal itself, rather than forcing a quick fix from fear. After a collapse, there is an in-between phase where possibilities are still fluid. In that liminal space, a higher blueprint for the future exists in potential. If you move too quickly to impose form, you may inadvertently solidify something that isn't reflective of the highest possibilities. Instead, take time to listen and envision. For example, if an institutional system has fallen, pause and invite collective dialogue about what values and structures would genuinely serve the highest good, rather than immediately drafting a new bureaucracy that carries old flaws. If your own role or identity has dissolved, resist the temptation to instantly latch onto a new label or position just to fill the void. Sit with the openness for a while, and let your intuition and joy guide you toward a new expression, perhaps one you couldn't have imagined while clinging to the old identity. Essentially, give spirit room to work. The invisible template of a more enlightened way is present, but it needs receptive hearts and minds to take tangible shape. This might mean experimenting with flexible, evolving forms, such as councils or community circles, instead of immediately codifying a rigid new system that ends up mirroring the old one. Allow yourselves time to dream, to channel inspiration, to pray for guidance on what the highest outcome looks like. Then, from that clear vision, build slowly and consciously, step by step. Each new structure or solution can be imbued with higher consciousness if you create it deliberately rather than reactively. By avoiding the knee-jerk impulse to rebuild the past in a new guise, you give the new earth design, the one emerging from a higher dimension of wisdom, a chance to manifest. The results will be far more resilient and loving, truly suited to humanity's deepest needs. Be the architects of a golden age, but let the soul's blueprint lead the way, not the old habits of the mind. Humility and grace in times of trial. In these turbulent times, no one will navigate everything perfectly, and that is okay. The ascension path is filled with trial and error, experimentation and course correction. What matters is not achieving flawless performance, but maintaining sincerity, humility, and a willingness to learn and adjust as you go. As structures fall and new ground is broken, everyone is operating outside their comfort zone. Mistakes will be made, by you and by others. You might misunderstand a guidance signal one day or let an old habit slip under stress, and others might disappoint you or act unwisely too. Rather than judging yourself or anyone harshly for these missteps, adopt compassionate accountability. Acknowledge the mistake, take responsibility if needed, learn from it, and then correct course and move forward wiser. The light path was never about never stumbling. It's about how quickly and gracefully you get back up. Even the greatest spiritual heroes had moments of doubt or times of hardship and injustice. One such story tells of a man betrayed by his own family and unjustly imprisoned for years. Yet he kept his faith and integrity throughout. In the end, he rose to great honor and saved many lives, even forgiving those who harmed him, seeing that a higher purpose had been at work all along. What was intended as harm became the catalyst for a greater good. The lesson in this and many similar stories is that a detour or dark chapter in life does not mean you have failed or that the divine has abandoned you. Often the soul grows most, gaining resilience, wisdom, and compassion during the toughest trials. What looks like a mistake or injustice can become the very thing that propels you into your true mission if you remain humble and faithful. So when you find yourself in a predicament, resist sinking into guilt or self-pity. Instead, quiet your heart and ask, what is this teaching me? How can I align with the higher plan now? And be willing to forgive yourself and others. Forgiveness keeps the energy flowing and allows grace to enter. If someone else missteps or acts from ego, respond with understanding rather than condemnation. All of you are under great pressure and learning as you go. By handling challenges with grace and humility, you actually shine even brighter. Others then see that light in you and feel safe to acknowledge their own errors and grow. This creates an environment where divine grace can work through everyone, bringing redemption and improvement where needed. Remember, the dawn comes after the darkest hour. If you hold true to your values through the darkness, the light will break through and you will emerge wiser and stronger. Every mistake forgiven and every lesson absorbed becomes part of the foundation of the new earth consciousness. Pledge your allegiance to spirit above all. Amid the intense play of world polarities, it is easy to get swept into identifying with one side or another of the 3D divides: political factions, national loyalties, social ideologies, and so on. While it's natural to have viewpoints and causes you care about, remember that beyond these temporary affiliations, your true allegiance is to spirit and the higher plan. Declare to yourself and the universe where you stand: I belong to the light. I align with divine will. Above all, establish your identity first as a spiritual being, a citizen of the cosmos and an agent of Source. This frees you from many traps of duality. It doesn't mean you withdraw from worldly life. It means you participate as a representative of unity rather than a combatant in separation. If you notice that any group loyalty or label is pressuring you to betray your inner guidance or to view others as enemies, step back. Realign with your mission of love and awakening. You may find that sometimes your divine perspective agrees with one side, sometimes with another, and often with neither conventional side at all, and that is okay. When you hold your identity as a child of Source above all else, you can navigate crises with far more clarity. News and events that once triggered anger or fear will now be filtered through your soul's vision. Instead of immediately reacting or taking sides, you ask, what is the highest truth here? How can love be applied to this situation? Your response shifts from defending an ego position to anchoring a higher understanding or solution. This also makes you much harder to manipulate. If your loyalty is to the divine current, you won't be easily swayed by emotional ploys to join an us versus them battle. You will recognize those as illusions trying to hook you. Instead, you stand on higher ground, holding space for resolutions that benefit the whole. You play your part in society, yes, but you know your true home frequency is unity and love. Carry that knowing with you into every conversation, every choice. It gives your actions a special calmness, integrity, and wisdom that others will notice. People may wonder why you remain composed when everyone else is in panic or rage. It is because you have anchored yourself in the divine flow rather than the collective frenzy. From that position, you become an instrument of peace. You quietly demonstrate an alternative to the endless tug of war. You show that a higher allegiance to the divine unites rather than divides. As more of you make this inner declaration and truly live it, the polarizing power of ideologies will weaken. In the space that opens, cooperative, heart-centered solutions can emerge for humanity. Heaven is coming to earth through you. The separation between the spiritual and the material is dissolving. Heaven is not a faraway place. It can be realized right here on earth through you. The task is not to escape earth, but to incarnate heaven upon it. You came not to leave this world, but to transform it by your presence. Let your body and life become a living temple of the cosmos, a vessel through which the vibrations of peace, joy, and divine wisdom flow into every interaction. Walk the earth as the masterful soul that you are, wearing your human form lightly yet purposefully, so that whoever meets you amid the chaos of these times feels a touch of grace. When others are swept up in panic or anger, your grounded empathy and radiant calm become a healing balm. When faced with negativity or darkness, you don't need to fight it. Simply by standing in the truth of love, you illuminate the space around you and shadows naturally recede. This is how you anchor heaven on earth, in each moment, through seemingly humble acts of kindness, through your laughter, creativity, prayers, and compassionate gaze. When you intentionally see the divine in someone or in a situation, you are literally pulling the energy of heaven into that instance. Know that none of this is in vain. the cumulative effect of many souls living this way is unstoppable. It is creating the perfect storm that will sweep away the old and reveal the new earth shining beneath. The darkness and illusion are falling, and what replaces them is the reality of unity and love that has always been the true foundation of existence. You are the bridge in this process, your human hands and heart implementing the will of the Creator on earth. We, your galactic family, hold profound love and respect for you who volunteered to be on the ground during this challenging but wondrous ascension. The perfect storm of disclosure and transformation, which once threatened to upend everything, will, in fact, deliver the blessing of a new dawn. And you will have the joy of saying, "I was here. I helped midwife this miracle. We will be there to celebrate with you. I am Mira, of the Pleiadian High Council, and I offer you my loving gratitude and steadfast companionship always."